Welcome back to Brick and Brand. We're your co-hosts, Delaney and Bradley. How you doing?
Hi, sis. Happy almost New Year's. This is our last
I
episode of
know.
2025.
Wait, that's crazy. We're actually not recording again, huh? Until
I don't
2026.
know because the New Year's on Thursday.
That's
This is
crazy.
crazy. It's a wrap. It's that weird kind of like funky time of year. I've talked to you a few times, but how are your kind of holiday season? How's that all going? Because it's such a weird time for us where we're like working but not working, resting, trying to plan for next year, all the things.
It's honestly such a weird time. Like, I was devastated when Christmas was over. I was like, even though I knew the holiday was going to continue for like another week, in my mind, it was like, okay, my holiday's over. Like, I
I
have to
know.
start working again. I don't have like, I'm not going into the office, but
I
the
agree.
momentum's starting to flow again, and some people are responding here and there. And
I
I'm just
know.
like, oh, like the time's over. I'm back to
I
work.
know. There's something about Christmas being over, even though we technically have another slow week,
Yeah.
that just kind of the reality of January and another 12 months is kind of like setting in. And at that point, I've typically taken like a slow week. And as I mentioned last week, I was on vacation, and your body just totally kind of morphs into this blob where you just want to sleep. And like, it's like your body realizes, oh my gosh, I can finally rest. And it just forgets everything that you've worked on. And you feel so
Yeah.
lazy.
I, like, can't wake up before, like, 8 a.m. anymore, and I
And
used to
normally
wake
we're
up
up
at,
at
like,
5.
6 or
Yeah,
5:30, yeah. 8 is, like, a full sleep-in day for me, and now I, like, can't wake up earlier than that. My body is like, "No, what are you
it's
doing? It's been a
terrible.
full week of sleeping in."
I
It's crazy
know.
how quickly you get adjusted, and
Yes.
all of a sudden, you can stay up later, and you can sleep in, you're just like,
You
"Oh,
can
it's
eat an
fine, I
extra
don't have as much
cookie,
stress." Yes.
extra glass of wine, none of it
Wait,
matters.
actually, I forgot to tell you this, but I saw Avatar last night.
Oh
The
my gosh.
3 hour and 20-minute movie.
Isn't it so good?
It's insane, but I kind of forgot the story from the first 2.
Yeah.
So, I was a little bit, like, disoriented. I didn't really know what was going on, but still phenomenal. And we saw it in, I guess it was technically 3D. It was like some sort of real D 3D or whatever they call it. So we had to wear glasses, but
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like we were in the movie, like, things were
That's so
flying
much
out
better.
at us. I mean, I was a little nervous because 3.5 hours of that, I thought I was, like, gonna
Yeah.
puke, but it was actually really entertaining. It was so interactive. There was literally stuff
Yes.
coming towards your face, and
Well, I
honestly, a
think it's
beautiful movie.
it's so good. I told you when
Yeah.
last week I watched the first 2 with my sister, with Lily, our youngest
Yeah.
sister, and then I went and watched the 3rd one, so I kind of they were all fresh in my brain, but I had never
Yeah.
seen them before. And I'm just completely obsessed, like, with Pandora, and Jim Cameron, the director, he is freaking incredible. Like, I
Yeah.
wanna be his friend. He lives on a, like, bio-regenerative farm in New Zealand,
Oh, really?
and just the
Okay,
way
I
that
didn't
he,
know
like,
any of that.
views the world and the way he represents, like, women in the movie was just so freaking powerful. Like, I've never seen female characters represented how he represented them, which was
Yeah.
just, like, so powerful and, like, equals with all the male
Yeah.
warriors. It was so
That
cool.
spoiler alert, but that woman literally gave birth, like, in the middle of a war with a
Mhm.
knife in her chest, and
Mhm.
she, like, gave birth to her baby so that her baby could live and she would die, like,
Yeah.
insane. And
There's
also
so
just
many
the
lessons.
visuals, and I mean, yeah, there was so much going on. For being a 3 hour and 20-minute movie, there was constant action. I was thinking, how can the storyline continue after this? What's gonna
Mhm.
and there was just another development or
It's so good. I would
something would
recommend
change.
everybody see it, whether or not you've
Yeah,
seen the first 2. I just think there's so many incredible lessons, like, for where we are in our world today,
true.
comparing it to that movie. But
True.
yes, the point is we have relaxed, we've watched some movies, we're a little bit foggy, but we have to get back to it, and I'm trying to get my body back this week with, like, going back to the gym, waking up somewhat early, and just kind of like, "Okay, we can do this, we can get back
Did you
into
ever
it."
actually take a break from the gym, Bradley, or have you been going the
Well,
whole
I did
time? I
for,
feel
like, probably 8 or 9 days when I was in
Oh,
Park
okay.
City. I went for walks and stuff and
Okay.
hiking,
Okay.
but there wasn't any gyms there, and it was
Right.
honestly so nice just not to work out
Yeah,
and
it's
relax.
amazing, huh? It's just
Yeah, but I
such a
missed
great
it
level.
too. I'm
No, I know.
addicted.
Yeah, you are addicted. I'm more of a couple times a week. I'm a casual dater of
Yeah, but a few
working
times
out.
a week is still good.
You're
As long
committed.
as you're going, like,
Yeah.
somewhat consistently,
Yeah.
it's better,
M
but
but your body is probably so thrilled that you took a break. I was already
yeah.
thinking about how many times I should go this week because 'cause I'm like, it's kind of a weird
Yeah.
limbo week, the 2nd week of the break. You know, the week between
Right.
Christmas and New Year's, you're just in such a limbo. For me, it feels like I need to be working, but the world isn't necessarily working yet or back to
In our
work.
industry, yeah.
Yeah, or in a lot of them, people are still a lot of people celebrate the whole 2 weeks or
Yeah.
take the whole 2 weeks off, and I feel like now that Christmas is over, I'm starting to feel guilty, and I
Yeah.
actually was going through some of my emails, and I think it was either Christmas Eve or the day after Christmas, but it was right around Christmas, and I got an email from one of my clients a day prior, and I was drafting a response to them, and I was so close to sending it, and then I looked at the date and the time, and it was like, I don't know, 6 or 7 PM, and it was like Christmas Eve, and I was just like, "Okay, I can't respond to this
Yeah.
email right now." Like, that feels inappropriate. But I feel like you probably were emailing people, like, on Christmas Day,
No.
like, "Where's my response?"
No.
Following up.
I'm laughing because I've had during the slow time is when I will get organized and I'll kind of get all my accounts organized, and I sometimes do have, like, emails I wanna send out during that time, and I feel like when I was starting out, I still am, but I've learned to kinda tone it back, but when I was starting out, I was just so ultra aggressive that I would email, like, any time of day. It didn't matter. I would email at 4 AM, it just doesn't matter. But I feel like I'm at the point this year I did start to draft some emails. I actually had some downtime on Christmas, and I was
Of
like, "Wait, I
course you
really
did.
want to, like, craft these emails." They've been sitting in my outbox, but I
Right.
decided again, I was like, Wait, I can't send these because it was, like, to a new client, and they don't know me that well." And, everyone celebrates the holidays differently, so if someone is
Yeah.
really, like, cherishing that time with their family and they're not looking at phones, you don't wanna be that one person that's, like, blowing them up, so
Yeah.
I did reel it in and not send anything, but it was hard.
You would be emailing on Christmas Day. That does not surprise me at all. You're
Guilty as
crazy.
charged, yes,
I always
but
am a little bit nervous about that, though. I always think, is it too late at night? Is it a
yeah,
holiday? Are they with their family? Or even like responding after, I don't know, 8, 9 PM or somewhere. It starts to make me feel weird. I'm like, I don't
okay,
know if this is, but that's just my personal preference. I don't necessarily know that that's correct. I wouldn't necessarily love to have people sending me stuff, "Hey, can you finish this up? Can you get this back to me?"
at 4 AM
Checking
or
in.
something.
Yeah, at 4 AM or 10 o'clock at night. Granted, it still happens to me, so maybe that's
Yeah,
just, like, the name of our industry, and I should get over it, but for some reason, when I'm doing it to other people, I'm always, like, a little bit hesitant. I feel
yeah.
it can
And
be
I
kind
think
of
it
triggering.
depends I think it depends on the type of email. Because if you're sending a 4
True.
AM or a midnight, like, following up, "What's the status?" That's a little aggressive, I would say, unless it's
Yeah.
just something that's, like, really you really need, but if you're just, like, getting them information or you're responding to something, then I think it's a little more
Yeah.
appropriate.
Yeah.
But I do the same. I get emails at all hours, and I'm kind of an early riser, you know that about me, so I'm not really
Yeah.
sending emails at midnight typically, but I will send them sometimes really early. If I have something important with a client, a meeting that starts at 7 or 8, I sometimes do send, like, 4 or 5 AM emails,
That's
But
crazy.
I also just like, respond when you can. Like, I'm not gonna have time
Yeah.
to email later today. It's just
Right.
business. But I think everybody's a little bit different. So it is
And
kind of
it's
to figure out
different
your
when it's
style.
an email versus a text, like,
Yeah.
I think because you can check your email when you want to. Most people aren't sitting with their notifications on loud, like, where a new email is gonna wake them up from their sleep or something, like, that's
Yeah.
unlikely.
Yeah.
Whereas calling or texting is a little more invasive, I feel like, but I actually had a
Yeah.
broker text me on literally Christmas Eve, evening of Christmas Eve, and say, "How much longer for your client's financial application?" or something like that. I was like, "Whoa, bro, it's Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Give me 5 minutes." But
Yeah.
I get it. But I totally get it. I know, I'm impatient too, but I have to
Yeah.
give my client a little bit of time to celebrate with their family. Let's not push
Right.
anybody.
Right. I think you just have to find, like, what's right for you because,
Yeah.
like you said, I kinda respect the people like, if people wanna send me a follow-up
Yeah.
on Christmas, it's not gonna hurt my feelings.
Right,
I may
right,
not respond, or I may if I want to. So,
right.
I think each client is different, and I was laughing earlier when you were mentioning the text because I don't send texts, like, at 4 a.m. to clients unless they're texting me already, but I do sometimes text my partners and it's not because I need them to respond then, it's because it's just in my brain and if I don't get it
Yeah.
out. And I have the best work partners because they never get mad at me for that. They just text me when they wake up at 7 or 8, and I'm like, "I've been up for 5 hours." Like, "Let's go. Ándale, ándale."
I've already solved the problem that I texted you about and 12 others, so
Exactly.
good morning.
But I'm just in my mind, I'm like, "You better have your phone on silent if you wanna sleep or turned
Yeah,
off. If not,
yeah,
you may wake up to my text, and that's probably good, because
yeah,
then we can start the workday early."
yeah. I had this coworker, not to digress, but I had this coworker at PF Chang's, one of the managers, and he had been doing it for a lot longer than me, and he was still is one of my good friends. He's an amazing guy, but he was so strict about texting when he was off duty
Oh,
or not working. He
okay.
was like, "I do not text me. Do not bother me. That's not my job." And we have a general manager for that can be on call 24/7, but you do not bother me. And
Wow.
sometimes there was stuff that I really had to ask that he had left partially done, and I was supposed to pick up on it when I got into my shift. And I remember specifically one time texting him, and it was early in the morning, probably 5 or 6, and I worked in the morning, he didn't work until later in the afternoon. And when he came in, he was livid, and he, like, laid
Really?
it out to me. Now that we're talking about it, I think that low-key might be why I'm so
I'm
careful
sure.
about it now because
Yeah.
he really, like, freaked me out, and he was like, "Do
Jeez.
not disturb me." But I get it. He was just like, "I don't wanna be bothered when I'm not at work.
Right.
Leave me the hell alone." And I'm like, "Okay,
Right.
no, that's fair." Different
That is
industry, of
fair.
course, now, but
Yeah.
I think that is probably why I'm so sensitive to it, but
I used to
it
have a
kinda
client, a restaurateur, but he was ex-military, and
okay.
he would rise, I guess, at 3:30 or 4, because every
Right.
morning when we were working on a deal, I would have it texted around 4 AM, and, I kind of feel like he did it on purpose to be like, "Get out of bed and, like, start your day," because he would text every morning that early, and I kinda
What?
made it a game to start responding to him as soon as possible. So I would respond at, like, 4:35, and not every morning, but if I was up, because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, I can be up early like you too." Because so it just depends on the client. Some people are, like,
Yeah,
testing you
I
to
know.
see how hard are you gonna work for them.
How am I supposed to
So,
know which one's a test and which one's just
I
like,
know.
"Get this out of my inbox and over to yours so I don't have to worry about it anymore."
Yeah, but the point is that follow-up and timing of
Mhm.
responses and all of that, it occupies this huge part of our brains and our business, and I feel like every day there's some nuance of follow-up that we're thinking about or processing subconsciously, and
Yeah,
not many industries are like that. But we have to
yeah,
follow up as brokers on so many things.
constantly. I mean, we've talked about that in so many other episodes just briefly, but I feel like there's so much more to get into because it's such a huge part of our business. So, we wanted to devote a whole episode to it, but It is so important in our business, and because we're that middleman and there's so many people that are kind of revolving around the client or the deal or the transaction, and we are helping facilitate all of those things and make sure they all get done. I mean, there's at any given moment, there's 10 things you could follow up on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's
And they all have
constant.
to get done or the deal doesn't move forward. So you may be
Right.
following up with a tenant rep broker on a response to an LOI or a lease, or following up with your attorney on the lease, or following up with a tenant on interest in your property. There's
Mhm.
endless things. And really, I feel like your ability to follow up and do it properly and just enough can really determine if you're going to be successful in this business, because I've seen a lot of young people start who don't have the ability to really follow up,
Mhm.
and it's very difficult for them to get things done. And
Mhm.
so I wanted to that's what one of the things we wanted to kind of talk about today.
Well, and it's also easy to forget to follow up with people. Sullivan taught me once to do this trick, and this is probably something you do as well, but it was new to me in the moment. He said at the end of the week or at the end of the day, go through your outbox and your sent emails and find all the ones that people didn't
Mm.
respond to or that you need to follow up on, and make note of those so you can follow up on them tomorrow or later in the
Yeah,
afternoon. And I thought that was a good, easy, like, tangible way of thinking about it, because we send so many emails every day or so many texts, and we're talking to 50 plus people every day, that it's easy to forget. Maybe you do
totally.
outreach for one of your properties and then you never circle back on those. And you could go back and follow up with 100 of those people or 100 of those
Right.
business owners. And it can easily be forgotten once you send an email. It's like, okay, check that off my list, moving right along. But you have
Yeah.
to go back. A lot of times you have to follow up with brokers or
2, 3, 4 times, yeah.
to get the response or to get an answer to
Yeah.
your question or
You
to
have
get
to have a
feedback from their
system
client. Yeah.
like Sullivan did. You have to have a system of tracking, because what I've realized is if you send an email and you don't follow up, I would say you, like, get responses maybe 40% of the time. But if you don't follow up and you actually need that thing, it's important, you
Yeah.
basically wasted the original email, because it's gonna take 2 or 3 follow-ups to get to what you want.
Right.
So it's almost just like it's such a long game with brokerage, and our dad always tells us he's always told me, like, know when you're opening versus closing, and you're not always
Mm.
closing a deal. A lot of the time, you're opening a deal, you're opening a relationship, and it can
Mhm.
take I have so many clients right now where it takes 1 to 2, maybe 3 years for things to develop and come full circle and to actually get a transaction done. And
Mhm.
so what do you do in that period of time, a year or 2 years, where you're in communication and
Mhm.
working towards this goal? There has to be some level of follow-up that adds value, but you don't wanna be overly pushy, overly aggressive all the time on the
Mhm.
client.
Mhm. It's that fine line of finding the balance of checking in, bringing it back to the top of their inbox, flagging this because it's important, well, it's timely. And then there's the flip side of things where you're being pushy or you come off as
Yeah,
overly aggressive or needy or you're rushing them or forcing them to make a decision before they're ready, which is obviously not our goal, but it's very important how you phrase the follow-up too. I think is
right,
so
right.
the time and when and what you say and
And I'm interested in your perspective, since you are a little newer in the business. I think you have probably a really, like, fresh perspective on this. But when I started, my tendency has always been to be overly aggressive and to, like, force things through, and that's something I've had to work on, but that's always my tendency is, "No, I will get a response and we will get this done," and sometimes it, like, applies too much pressure, right? So I've had to really
yeah.
work on that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, as being a year in the business, like, how do you approach follow-up? Are you more like waiting an extra day to see if they respond? Are you jumping the gun to follow up? Do you overthink it, or do you just go for it?
That's so funny because that's how you are with me with Brick and Brand as well. You're like 5 minutes after something's we talked about, "Hey, is that done yet?"
No.
How much longer? Can I get a link?
That's why we get things done, Delaney.
Yeah, but it's okay. No, I know exactly how you are, so I don't take it in a weird way or a bad way at
Yeah.
all. I think it's amazing, and I think it's a quality for sure. I would say I'm a little bit less aggressive. I have 0 shame in following up. In fact, I will do it repeatedly, 4, 5, 6 times if I'm not getting a
Yeah.
response, and I
Yeah.
will say early on in the business, I was shocked at how many brokers don't respond or
Yeah.
don't respond to your first email. Now, when you're just doing an email blast or you're emailing business owners about potentially expanding or you're trying to recruit a new client, you assume you're not going to get as many responses, right?
Mhm.
Maybe you email 100 business owners, your return's probably going to be, I don't know, 5 responses. It's going to be pretty
Sure.
low. But when you're emailing a broker, like a colleague in the business about a specific project and you have a specific client that, could be a fit, that's when I'm like, why are we not emailing back? Like, why do I have to follow
Right.
up with you 4 times? That makes no sense to me. And so that's something I definitely had to learn. I remember Sullivan and I were preparing for a client tour. We were going to tour the market and look at, 8 or 9 sites with our client. And it was getting closer and closer to touring time. And there was a couple of projects that we hadn't heard back from. And I told Sullivan, I was like, I already followed up with them once. I can't keep going. And he was like, once? Like,
Yeah.
that's nothing. Email them 3 more times. Call them. Like, have you texted them? Call their cell.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? That's so aggressive. So I definitely had to learn to be a little
Sure.
bit more pushy.
And that's something I tell the young guys in our office when they're helping me on something. They'll say, "Oh, I haven't heard back." And I immediately say, "Have you called? Have you texted? How many times
Yeah.
have you emailed?" Because
Yeah.
you'll never get results in our business if you say, "Oh, I sent an email and now I didn't hear back. Oh, well, no deal now."
Yeah.
Like that just doesn't fly.
Would
It
never
doesn't work.
work. Yeah.
So, but there is a difference between being annoying and being professional. And so, over the 6 years I've been doing this, I've learned the hard way when I was maybe too overly annoying or pushy. And I kind of feel like there's 3 rules of follow-up that if you follow these, you're generally going to be safe, with a few exceptions, of course. And so the first one that I always try to adhere to, and I wonder if you do this as well, but it's just value is better than volume.
Mhm.
So when you do follow up, make sure that you're adding value in some way. Like the worst kinds of follow ups to get, and I get these sometimes from salespeople, is just like, hey, following up. Hey, putting this on your inbox, top of your inbox, but there's no real new information.
Mhm.
Or even saying like, what other questions can I answer for you?
Mhm.
What other
Mhm.
information can I provide? Kind of prompting them to think through the situation.
Totally.
But I think as long as you're providing value, the volume isn't gonna be as annoying if you follow up a lot.
I also think it's smart to not to get too far into this, but with the value component, I feel like an element of that is how you're following up. Like you've emailed once or twice, that's not getting through to them. Is it appropriate in this situation to call their cell and leave a voicemail? Sometimes I think we get stuck as brokers behind a screen and we'll just be email warriors constantly sending emails
Mhm.
when a phone call can get all of it done and more in
Yeah.
way less time. I'm not going to email them for a 4th time. I'm just going to give them a call and leave a voicemail because I know that most
Yeah.
likely they'll have more time to answer that or they'll just be quicker to check their phone. So I think to your point, how you're following up, what you're saying, are you providing new information? Depending on the setting, if it's someone you feel like you can contact via cell, does that
Yeah.
make more sense and save you
I'm
time?
actually a huge phone person. Like I either call them first without
Mhm.
an email or immediately after I send an email call or text. And I'm a
Yeah.
big texter. I don't know if that's appropriate for everybody, but I text other brokers, I text my clients. I don't really like waiting for an email back because then I forget or I have to put it on my follow-up list. And
Yeah.
I do feel like if it's someone's cell and they know you, they're going to get back to you. And
Yeah.
it's not gonna get lost as quickly as an email, so I completely agree, like, if you haven't called and you're just continuing to email, that's kind of a
You're
problem,
wasting
for
your
sure.
time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
and timing is everything too, right? If you're responding back or following up too quickly, you do come across a little bit desperate and like you have nothing else going on, and if you're too slow or you don't
Us emailing on
respond
Christmas.
I know. I
Do you
know,
have
but it's
any family? Are you with any anyone you love?
exactly, exactly. But if it's too slow, then you come across kinda lazy or like you're not
Mhm.
interested.
Mhm.
So it's like kind of a rhythm that you have to work out.
I'm so curious to know because we've actually never talked about this, and I feel like everyone has a little bit of a different technique on this. What's your average rhythm or time frame that you're following up after an initial meeting with a new client or a landlord? Is it sending an email as soon as you get back to the office? Is
No.
it waiting 24 hours? Are you following up the next week? Like, what's your schedule?
So when I first started in the business, I think I would follow up right away, like as soon
Yeah.
as that same day.
Yeah.
Now, as I've gotten busier and busier, it's not really feasible for me to do that, especially after an initial meeting. The ball is typically in my court to provide information.
Right. Right.
So I had a client come in town to tour out of Las Vegas a few weeks ago, really cool wine bar concept. And we had a great tour. Typically, after a tour, I follow up by email quickly, kind of recapping, but they had asked for
Mhm.
some information. And I also had to go to New York in between. And it was probably 7 to 10 business days before I could get them what they needed. And that was okay because I let them know, hey guys, it'll be a little while. So but typically, if there's nothing impeding me or slowing me down, I think a couple of days is fine.
Mhm.
Or if it's a really high moving quickly situation, you should probably do it sooner. It just kind of
Mhm.
depends.
Depends on the situation, and communication is everything too. If you know you're gonna be we never really take vacations in our business, but if you know you're gonna
Yeah.
be traveling and you're gonna be a little bit slower to respond to your emails or on a plane, just giving the people that have time sensitive situations that you're handling, like, giving them a heads up, letting them know
Yeah.
I haven't forgotten, I'll get back to you. I wanna make sure I get you a comprehensive, complete answer, like, give
Sure.
me 3 business days.
And so for you, how quickly do you follow up on like an LOI or a lease comment if it's in someone else's court? Are you waiting a few weeks, a few days? What's your process?
I would say probably 4 or 5 business days. So
Okay.
giving them some time to review it. At least maybe it's more like a week, but then
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, "Hey, what's the time frame for an expected
Yeah.
response here?" I'm not necessarily like, "How much longer?" Like, "This is taking too long,"
Right.
because I think you have an attorney and
It takes
leases take a
longer.
while to go through. Yeah,
Yeah. I know that attorneys can really slow things down as we've talked about
totally.
before, and I am guilty of after, like if I've been following up and it's been, like, 2, 3 sometimes it's a month before you get a lease back from an
Right,
attorney,
exactly. So a
and
week can be like, "Whoa, this is aggressive." Like, "Give me a minute."
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm guilty of kind of just, like, losing it, not in an unprofessional way, but, like, if it's really been a long time,
Yeah.
I will just start following up, like, "Where's the lease? We've gotta get the lease back," and
Yeah.
you have to be professional, but at the same time, you also sometimes your clients are like, "We need that lease back," or "I'm not moving forward," or, like, the deal's really in jeopardy,
Yeah.
and then you just have to really push, and
Yeah.
sometimes that's what it takes to get things done.
Yeah. How many times will you keep following up? Like, here's a situation that I have had recently. A broker had a tenant that was interested in one of the projects that I do the leasing for, and we exchanged a few emails on it, and then we talked on the phone for, I don't know, 30 or so minutes, and seemed like it could be a really good fit. It was very preliminary, but it seemed like it checked a lot of their boxes, and we were kind of moving forward to a tour, but putting it on the calendar for a month or so out, and I she went silent. The broker on the other side went silent after that, and by this point, my landlord already knew that they were at least somewhat interested. So every week on our call, they're asking any update on that client or
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
tenant, and I can't
That's
get a
tough.
response. And so I'm curious. I emailed shamelessly. I emailed, texted, called probably I don't know. I mean, I emailed at least 4 or 5 times. I think I left 2 voicemails, and I definitely texted as well. And this was over the course of a month, but still, I was, like, annoying her to get a
Yeah.
response. What's your rule on how many times you'll follow up when you don't get
Yeah.
any response back?
Well, that's a very interesting situation. First of all, that's really bad brokerage on the other broker's part to not give you feedback. We all
Right.
have
It's not
clients on the other
ideal.
side we're reporting to.
Yeah.
And in your situation, when your client is the landlord and they are asking you for feedback, I would say you keep following up till you get an answer.
Yeah.
But if you, let's say you do an outreach email to a potential new client and you don't hear back, I would say maybe you follow up like every few months, or you
Right.
really space it out if you're going to keep following
Right.
up because that's a totally like cold. But if you have a
Lead. Yeah.
client and they need something, yeah, I think that you just be shameless about it because there is a reason, even if the answer is no, you need to give your client feedback.
Right. Right.
So it depends on the situation, but generally speaking, I think it's like you follow up until you get a no.
Yeah.
A silence is not a no in
Yeah.
our business. That's a tough situation. Did you ever get feedback?
No, I still haven't.
Oh my
I'll call her
gosh.
again today. No,
Unbelievable.
she's a nice gal. I'm sure she's, I don't know, busy, and I'm sure they're not interested or something. It's a good reminder that when we're on the flip side to never do that, which I wouldn't. I would
Totally,
never do that,
totally.
but
And the last rule is really just tone matters more than frequency, which is kind of just reiterating what we've already said. It's just how you say things, being confident, not pushy, clear, not needy, things like that. Those are kind of the three rules. And honestly, we were talking before the episode, before we started recording, and we were kind of reflecting on how all the good things that have happened to us in our career and all the new business has come from follow up. And I have some crazy stories about how follow-up has helped me win, like, major accounts, and we kinda wanted to close out some of this data with some more just, like, a couple fun stories on, like, this
yeah.
stuff really does work, and yes, you have to be careful and follow the rules, but at the end of the day, follow-up works, and it's super, super powerful.
And it's valued so much. Like if you're abiding by these rules, value over volume, timing, and your tone, it's so valuable to be following up. It can
Yeah.
lead to some really, really great business, and it can set you apart from the rest of the industry or your
Yeah,
colleagues when
yeah.
you're responsive and checking in and following up and closing the loop on things, which is
Yes,
easier said than
yes.
done in our business
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah. Well, I wanna just tell the story of the Pickler account, which Delaney and Sullivan have, I think, Southern California, San Diego, and then I have done most of Texas and Oklahoma, and this was an account we picked up probably 3 years ago now, it's been a while. But I was pretty new in the business, and I was leasing a big shopping center, and I was got a lot of sign calls, and I always answered my sign calls, but a lot of them were just junk, there were
Yeah.
people that wanted to open a vape shop or a laundromat, I just wasn't interested in working with them.
Yeah.
But I finally got a call from this guy, and he said, "I'm trying to open a pickleball facility. It's gonna be like 30 to 40,000 square feet." And I thought, "Well, that's great. Like, I will help him with that." I followed up a couple times, and he kept kinda just saying he was responding, but he was just saying, "I'm not ready yet. I'll get back to you when I am." But at the time, I didn't even know it was a franchise. I thought it was just his concept that he wanted to open a pickleball facility.
Mhm.
Finally, I mean, I probably followed up with him for 4 months, just kept sending him a text, kept giving him a call because I was like, "I really wanna do a pickleball deal. That sounds cool."
Mhm.
He finally sends me back the link to Pickler Inc., which is now one of the fastest growing franchises. They're all over the country, Canada, they're in Japan and Australia. He goes, "This is the brand. Let me connect you to the head of franchise sales. Talk to him." Basically, like, "I'm tired of talking to you. Talk to corporate," which I was like, "Great. I wanna talk to corporate. Sign me up."
Yeah, give me the
But
CEO's cell phone, please.
yeah. So long story short, I don't wanna digress, but I picked up the Pickler account. I've done 8 or 9 deals with them. Delaney and Sullivan have done, I think, 4 or 5, and they've got a lot more in the pipeline. It has been one of the best accounts for us, and so cool to be part of it, and truly, it would not have been it would not have been an account had I not just been like, "You know what? This is," and I have probably 50 other stories like that.
Yeah,
So,
where you just
it's a good
continue to
reminder.
follow up. So, to close the story out though, what happened when you got connected with corporate? I bet that wasn't probably like an immediate, "You're in the
Yeah,
deal."
that's
It
true. I
probably
should
took some
close the
time.
story. Yeah, so I just got connected with him and he basically filled me in on their criteria, what they were doing. And he said, "Yeah, please help our franchisee," which there was only one at the time in Dallas,
Okay.
who was the
Okay.
gentleman I'd been following up with. So we put together a site tour. He flew into town and we toured the market. We sent out LOIs. We ended up signing a lease. And then from there, more franchisees just kept getting signed. And during kind of the early days of that, we went to lunch and to dinner with the lead franchise real estate developer and basically just talked to him, told him our strategy, and he said, I want you guys to have Texas. So you have the first right of refusal anyway. And so that was one of the
Wow.
first big wins I had, being year and a half in, 2 years in.
That's
It was a confidence
crazy
booster for
for
sure.
being so new. That's still really, really new to the business. That's a huge account. Huge.
But the thing is, anybody could have won that account. There was nothing special that I did knowledge wise. It was just follow up and it was just getting in front of the right person
Yeah.
and connecting with him and being passionate. I didn't have much knowledge at the time.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's just a good reminder, like every account is yours to win, if you
Mhm.
find a way.
Mhm. Oh, that's such good advice, Bradley.
Thank you.
I have chills.
Mic drop.
Yeah, literally. Let's end the episode there.
Yeah.
Okay, so to wrap it up, we kind of wanted to do a little rapid fire, kind of what would you do in this situation on the topic of follow up. So to get this started off, Bradley, in your opinion, how many follow ups is too many? When does your pride go? No more.
Until I hear a no, I would say it's fair game. We keep fighting. Once I
Oh
hear
my
a
God.
no, I'm not interested. I take a break.
Silence is not a no. You have to
It's
respond to me.
not. It's not. And if they say, "Why are you still following up?" You just say, "Well, you never told me no."
So true.
Maybe you never saw my 100 texts. I don't really know. It's not my problem. I'm gonna keep following
I
up.
don't know if you threw your phone off a bridge. That's not my problem. I want to make sure that you respond to me.
Exactly. You have to be, like, kinda delusional to follow up this
No,
much.
you really do. You have to set your pride and your ego to the side and just go,
Yeah.
okay, I don't care what this person thinks of me or how desperate they think I
Yeah.
am. I'm going to try one more time.
I will get a response. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, here is one, Delaney. What is like the worst follow-up phrase that you have either by accident sent yourself or received from someone else that just gives you like the major ick? Like, I don't want to talk to this person. I'm so turned off.
I feel like I have like 40 of these, but
Share them all.
I think when it's just so short, like I don't need a novel. You don't need to check in. How's your week? How are you doing? Hope your Christmas was well. Did you get any fun presents? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't need it to that extent, obviously. But it would be great if you could like greet me in an email, like maybe or say my name and and then maybe follow up with like a complete sentence at a bare minimum. My least favorite is just checking in dot 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 and then their name. Following up, question mark,
Dot, dot, dot.
dot, dot,
Yeah.
dot. Yeah, and I'm like, "What is that?" I know
Yeah.
you're busy, and I know you don't have a lot of time, but give me a complete sentence. Come
Yeah.
on, you know,
Totally.
how
It's so lame. It's
yeah,
just,
so
yeah,
that
it's
really
lazy, like
irks
we
me.
said.
It's
Yeah.
just lazy. Yeah, and I'm like, "I get it. The ball's in my court. I owe you a response." Or, like, if they say, "Send something like that," and I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna be the bigger person on this one, and I'll give them a full, complete answer, let them know what's going on. Here's my estimated time that I would expect for this to get this back to you." Really try and over elaborate and over communicate. And then I get the same exact text 2 days later. Following
Yeah,
up,
that doesn't
question
work.
mark. And it's like, go back and read my original text. I don't have time
Yeah.
for this.
So that is the worst follow-up phrase, follow-up tactic that you can use
Yeah,
just
no,
for
thank you.
everybody listening. Please don't.
Okay, Bradley, email or text is better. What do you think?
Oh, this is tough because I do a lot of both. I guess if I had to pick one,
She said,
for
ugh.
me, I would say text is a little more powerful. So if I could
Yeah,
only do one forever, probably text. I would just need everybody's cell numbers in the whole world.
yeah,
So email's good if you don't have their number. But if you wanna really come in hard, they see you, they get the message, they know who you are.
yeah.
Um, they're not gonna forget a text
Yeah,
or
totally.
a phone call, voicemail.
Yeah, voicemail, that's true.
Mm. When do you stop following up, Delaney? Is there any point, I know this is kind of redundant to the first question, but is there a point or something that could happen where you would say, "I'm done. Like, all's fair. I'm not following up anymore."
Well, I know you said that silence is not a no, so keep following up. But I think I would probably continue to follow up if I know that I used my best efforts, meaning I didn't just email them. I texted, I called, I left voicemails, I emailed. It's hard because it's so different, it's so case by case, and depending on who you're following up with.
Yeah. I guess just generally speaking.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if an extended period of time and I'm literally not getting anything, and I've tried every avenue that in the past they were responding to those, and now they're just dropped off the face of the earth, and I've been checking in for a month plus consistently, I may start to slack off, or I may go, okay, let me push it once a month. I'll check in with them.
Yeah.
Maybe
Push
not
it
as
out a little
often.
further. Yeah.
Exactly. But
I
I
think
do
that's a
like your
good.
rule that silence is not a no. And so I do try to be aggressive about that. Maybe not quite as much as you, but no, but I do try to be really consistent with it and not take a lack of response as not
Yeah.
interested, you know?
Yeah. These are all just such great reminders, and honestly, they're not just for our business, even though we have a lot of follow-up. I think follow-up is so important in anything you're doing in life,
It
from
really
job
is.
hunting to, just with friends and family, honestly. So
Well,
so
and
moving
now
on.
sorry, one quick thing I feel like that we've experienced now that we have our own business, which we have real estate, but we also have brick and brand, and having not that we really have employees, but having people that are reporting to us in some sense, whether it's like a newer broker that you're working with, once we're on the other side and we're expecting communication that we're not getting, like I appreciate follow up so much in that
Me
sense.
too.
If I owe someone something or another broker didn't get a response from me in the time that they wanted, follow up with me. I appreciate that. Put it back at the top of my inbox and let me get it
Yeah.
over to you because I am not intentionally ignoring you.
I agree. And as someone who does follow up aggressively, as I've gotten busier and I need more follow up now from team members, young
Yeah.
brokers, or some of our employees at Brick and Brand, I'm almost never thinking you're following up too much. As
Yeah.
long as these rules are being followed, I'm like thrilled that they're following up.
Yeah.
So I
Exactly.
think that that's a great point.
Yeah. Alrighty. So to end out today's episode, should we talk about the brands that we are currently obsessed with? I think you have a really good one this week. So you
Yes.
go first.
I've been so excited to talk about this brand. I've wanted to for a while. And for those of you who are watching, I am going to hold up a bottle so you can see the logo and the glass. So this is Ophora Water, which is out of Montecito, California, which is near Santa Barbara. So this water has really changed my life. It is hyperoxygenated and alkalized, al, al, alkaline and hyperalkaline water, and it's bottled in glass for purity. So most water that we're getting, even the healthy water from Whole Foods and glass, is just really clean and maybe alkaline. Ophora takes it a step further and they actually put in oxygen molecules into your water. And oxygen is really heals almost every disease. And since I've been drinking it, I just feel so much better. You
Hmm.
can buy bottles, half gallon, quarters, or any kind of bottle that you want from their website, which we'll link in the show notes. Their bottling plant is in Santa Barbara, but they also have whole home systems, shower heads that filter your shower
Hmm.
water. They have a lot of different types of systems that you can use if you want to invest in something more, but it's just a huge step forward in your health and wellness, and I've been loving it. So it's Ophora Water.
No, I love Ophora. What an amazing brand. The water tastes out of this world. Like it's so good.
Mhm.
Health benefits aside, I really can taste the difference in water.
Yeah.
And I feel like Ophora water there's nothing better. It is so refreshing and it's just, it tastes so good. I know that sounds crazy because it's like it's water, but you can tell a difference.
And people don't realize water's such an important part of health and
Yeah.
wellness. Like, it literally makes up all the cells in your body. And Delaney and
Mhm.
I have visited the facility multiple times in Santa Barbara and watched their system, and it's honestly it's really, really cool and inspiring the work that they're doing. So we wanna support them however we can. They're doing really big things in the world.
Yeah. Don't they also have I don't know if it's available for sale, but at least at the facility, don't they have a jacuzzi with
Yeah, a hot
this
tub.
hot tub, and then it's like red light or something like that,
Mhm.
multiple benefits, health benefits. I
Yes.
haven't tried that, but I really wanna try that. It sounds
I've tried
amazing.
it a few times. Yeah, basically the oxygen kind of, like, seeps into your skin because 'cause you're fully
Yeah.
submerged,
Yeah.
and I personally I'm blessed to be healthy, but a lot of people who are sick have gone and used the hot tub, and they see, like, tremendous health that they'll see, like, a disease or something they've been struggling with for months, like, go away after using this hot tub.
That's
So,
insane.
it's really, really
It's
cool.
like cutting edge, like
Yes.
not even fully,
Most people don't really
known
know
yet.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So please support.
We love
And then
Ophora.
Delaney, share with
Yeah,
us your brand of the week.
so my brand this week, I don't have a physical representation for anyone watching, so you're not missing out, but I feel like most people have probably heard of the brand Cozy Earth. They're a luxury bedding and loungewear brand. They were founded in 2011, so they're not that old. But I've been seeing them become more and more popular as of recently. And I think they started with sheets for your bed, bedding, and pillowcases. They're best known for ultra soft bamboo derived fabrics, and it's the most breathable, buttery soft, sustainably sourced. It's temperature regulating. It's incredible. It literally brings your sleep to another level. I've never experienced anything like it, and I was seeing them everywhere, and I really was kinda like, "I don't wanna get on that bandwagon." Like, they're just
Right.
sheets. I don't need to spend extra money on a new pair of sheets, but I finally bit the bullet and bought a pair or bought a set of sheets, and I am obsessed with them. I literally, like, when I have to wash my bed, I'll take off those sheets and wash them and put them directly back on. I don't cycle them
Oh
out
my
with any other
gosh.
sheets in my house because I'm
Yeah, they're
so
so good.
obsessed with them. And they've since expanded, and they now have robes, pajamas, towels, other home essentials. So it's not just bedding. So if you're looking to upgrade your sleep or get a cozy robe, I know Christmas is over now, but could not be a better gift. No one will
Yeah.
say no to a buttery pair of soft sheets for their bed.
Yeah,
Like,
good brand. I
and they're
have a pair of
sustainably
their
sourced.
pajamas
Oh, do you really?
that I love. Yeah, and I think a couple of their blankets. So I don't have the sheets
Okay.
yet, but I do have some of their other products, and I really, really love them. I think they're announced a new store opening in Dallas, a storefront.
No way.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm
in,
coming to
like, last
Dallas. We're
month or
going
2.
shopping.
Yeah,
We're going
no, they're
shopping.
really everything that you say that they are. It's just cozy, makes you feel, like, so relaxed and at home no matter what the product is.
Yeah. I physically, like, cannot wait to get into my bed every day. It's so soft and amazing, and you're not sweating. You know how especially during the winter, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm constantly battling in between hot, cold, too many
Yeah.
blankets, not enough airflow, and so these sheets are just they're perfect. So, those are
Yes.
some brands we love. Cozy Earth, check them out. I know they have social media and a website, and so does Ophora.
Yes, thank you so much for listening, everyone. We'll be back next week on Friday, same time, same place. You, can follow us on all the normal avenues, Instagram, our website,
Yes, and also
YouTube.
go on our website and submit us a question or a brand that you love because we
Yes.
always want to be finding new brands. And we also want to talk about things that you all are interested in and that you would like to learn
Yeah.
about or hear about, whether that's a crazy story from our life or something that we're learning, or maybe you have a question about real estate. So
Yeah.
you can find that all on our website. There's a forum for you to submit questions and also let us know about a brand that you're obsessing over so that we can check them out and obsess over them too. Thank you so much, everyone.